Please stand for the Pledge of Allegiance. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Please be seated.
Good morning, Hopewell. Today we're out here on the ropes course. We're going to have more on outdoor education next week.
This Saturday is Veterans Day, and in honor of Veterans Day, we have more from Doug McCory, retired Navy SEAL.
I never wanted to learn science. I didn't want to sit in English. I didn't want to do math. I hated it. I did it because I just did it to get through. And I did fine in high school, but I wanted to get out of there. And I went to the Navy because I just wanted to do something else. I wound up being in more schools in the Navy than I ever would have been in college. I was in school 8 hours a day, every day for over 2.5 years. But you know what? In school, by learning how to read, by learning how to write, by learning how to do math, by learning physics and biology, things I hated, I found out that because of the education I received here in New Jersey, which this state is one of the best in the country at providing education to their students, I found out that I was smarter than most of the guys I went through training with. I was smarter than a lot of the officers I went through training with because I got a great foundation here. And even when you don't like it, by being able to do the classes, by being able to learn to do the exercises, whether it's writing, which is, can be so tough and really rough on you. I wound up working in the operations office as an enlisted guy, writing all kinds of reports and papers for a SEAL team. Then I wound up writing curriculum to train people. And when I retired from the Navy, I wrote a course of instruction that the Navy uses today to train all their sailors out there to board ships and search them. But there's a lot of research, there's a lot of writing, there's a lot of doing, all these things that I had to do when I did a social studies project or when I did an English project. And I never appreciated it when I was here, and I hated it. But it gave me the tools so that I could succeed.
We are very grateful to have Doug McCory in our studio.
We interviewed some students to see what their thoughts were on Veterans Day.
Me and Adam wanted to say a quick thank you to all the veterans for protecting us and having us be able to have this.
Thank you for your service.
Yeah.
Thank you for all the service that you did in the military, because without it, we wouldn't be like the same country that we would be today. And this is a pretty great country because of that, so thank you.
Veterans Day means to me appreciating the heroes that fought for our country, that allow us to live in safety and peace and not have to worry daily whether we're going to wake up with everything falling apart and our family's gone. Veterans Day is about being thankful for all the people who gave their lives for us.
It gives us purpose in life to remember.
It's a day that allows us to remember the people that fought in the wars for our freedom. America wouldn't be what it is today without their sacrifices and risks.
I think Veterans Day is important because we're honoring the people who served our country, keeping us free, and putting their lives on the line for us.
It's honoring the people that served in the war for us, for our freedoms.
It's a day that we have to recognize what the veterans did for us, how they protected us.
It's a good way not to forget about it.
Yeah.
We should recognize veterans and Veterans Day by visiting memorials and historical sites and, giving to maybe foundations that help support veterans that are struggling after their experiences.
It's really just being about thankful to all these people who gave their lives for our country and for us.
For Veterans Day this year, I'm going to Washington, D.C., and I'm going to watch the ceremony in Arlington Cemetery, so it should be interesting.
Yeah, my grandpa was a soldier, so we just hang around with him.
Same with mine.
This fall, TV2 students produced a feature on their hobbies.
Harry Meredith is very fond of sleeping. Here's more on that.
My name is Harry Meredith, sleeper. My hobby is sleeping. I spend about, I spend about 8 hours a day sleeping, sometimes more. So if you do the math, that is, it's a lot of hours a week. Sleeping is a very healthy hobby. It's good for your body, it's good for your heart, it's good for your brain. The definition of a hobby is something that you do in your free time that's peaceful and relaxing.
Vietnam!
And I feel like sleeping best fits that out of anything that I do in my life. When I don't get sleep, I often find that I turn into a monster, a mean person.
Good morning. Sit here! I'm tired!
It's not pleasant. When I'm not sleeping, I'm thinking about sleeping, so I would say that my substitute hobby for sleeping is thinking about sleeping. Or napping. Oftentimes I find myself sleeping in the fetal position. I've woken up standing. I've woken up knocking my head against doors, so it varies. Occasionally I'll wake up and I'll have claw marks on my chest. I'll have crosses in my bed that I don't remember putting there, and then I'll wake up and I'll draw things that look like demons. But I don't think there's anything wrong. So we're calling a priest on Wednesday. My favorite part about sleeping is probably that it's one of my few skills. I'm not good at a lot of things, but I can honestly say that I am very good at sleeping, and no one can challenge me on that. I would say that generally I am a morning person because of how well I sleep, because it's one of my few talents. But when I don't sleep,
I got 7.5 hours of sleep. That's not enough.
it can get a little rough. If I didn't have an alarm clock, then my hobby would probably be a lot better. I would probably sleep a lot more. But on the days where I forget to set my alarm clock, I normally wake up at the sound of my head banging against my door. When I sleep and I wake up with my head banging against the door, a lot of the times I don't know why. But I feel like it's probably God's way of telling me I'm doing something right.
Let's be honest. Everyone's looking forward to sleeping this 4-day weekend.
You have a good weekend, Hopewell.